Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Yeah, now it is.
Okay. Okay. So the point was to the previous video was that I was already slipping, and it's just a mindset that you get in that you just are like you're not going to accept anything that's ridiculous, and
Right.
so I kind of wanted to bring that up, you know what I'm saying, before I get into what I ultimately want to get into is the halfway house, and that the halfway house is about it's for people that have done a lot of time, because any hold on, let me move this browser because I got multiple screens here, and I'm just all right, there we go. All right, so the point is that they have halfway houses. It's not a new concept, but I want a halfway house that's particular toward people that have done 10 years or more, because it's more difficult for them to re-enter because the world changes dramatically, and but I also want to keep it kind of exclusive to only violent offenders, um,
Right. I know what you
because
mean.
I understand them.
Right.
It's just that I understand. I know what they're struggling with. I know the kind of nonsense that they're going to deal with, and it's really hard when they come back out into the real world and they're expected to just, you know, talk it out, and that I know how hard it is for them to do that, but I want to help them do that, and I want to help them get in what they need in. So I can go on with what led me back to prison on my second bit, or I can just get in straight into the halfway house and what I want to do.
Whichever you think you should do,
What
you can just
let's
cover
just
the Maryland prison briefly, and then go into the
it's
halfway
hard to
house.
do that. My second bit is a hard one to cover because it was two states, because I got Virginia, and then I got Maryland.
Right.
Um, so maybe let's jump to the halfway house first, and if people want to hear that other story, and we can get into it. But
Right.
let's just jump into the halfway
All right.
house.
That sounds good.
So so from now on, I don't touch firearms anymore because apparently I got a bad history with them, and so
Right.
what just the way I am. So what I got is I got what I call a be good stick. This is my be good stick, and some people are stubborn, and a be good stick ain't enough. So what I also got is a be better stick, and
Right.
because as bad as that is, it is better than a firearm.
Right.
But also in prison, we don't have you can't take your firearm into prison to solve your problem. So in prison, we got this right here,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and that's all you got. That's literally it. That's all you got. You don't have any sticks or any. Well, you do kind of. I saw some people get into it on a softball field in prison. But anyway, I'm getting back to the point. What I want to do is I've been out for 20 years now, and I've been somehow able to not go back, which is amazing for me. And I've been single parenting for the last 16 years, and I got a beautiful daughter, and I'm really protective over her. And I'm a little scared the older she gets, you know what I'm saying? And she's gonna start dating, and then I gotta, because I'm very protective, not in the way where I keep her inside, but I'm protective in a way that don't let me hear anything bad, because it's not going to go well if I do hear anything bad. So I'm hoping everything goes well. I got all my rights restored except for my gun rights. I sent I got a letter from the governor restored all my rights in 2016, so I could do everything. I can vote now, which in Virginia you need to get your rights restored to vote. It's not automatic when you get out. You have to have them restored by the governor. And And so I that did happen, and I even got called for jury trial. It was amazing. I was looking forward to it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, okay," they're trying to help me because they think you don't want to be on a jury. It's not fun. And they were trying to tell me all these ways to get off it, and I'm like, "No, I want to be on a jury because I think you know, being that I'm ex-con, and I have the ability to
No,
read people better.
right.
Um, I'm going to know whether or not what they're saying is likely or not likely, and I'm not as naive. So but it's like from the prosecutors end, they're trying to probably write me off with a jury anyway because they're going to think I'm gonna give somebody a free pass. I'm not gonna give you a free pass. If I think you did something, it's a violation of the law. You know what I'm saying? I did my time. You could go do your time, but
Right.
I'm also not gonna let you get railroaded. So
Right.
it goes both ways.
That,
It's a switch both ways. And so, but I didn't get to do that because right when I got on that jury pool, COVID hit, and then they canceled all the trials, and they haven't called me back. So that was 2 years ago that happened. So yeah, what I want for my halfway house is the eligibility requires a violent crime, 10+ years incarcerated to qualify for the halfway house. But what makes my
and
halfway house? What would make my halfway house? Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, how close are you to accomplishing that, or is it ways in the future yet?
I'm still working out. I'm still working out the bugs. I'm still so I got a couple of people I got to contact to find out exactly. There's a lot to it that I didn't even realize when I started looking into it. I was like, wow, there's a lot more than just having a property and so forth. There's a whole lot more to it. So I got to find out, even if being that I have a criminal history, if I'm allowed to set it up. But if I'm not personally allowed to be involved with it, then I'll still support somebody who is allowed to be involved with it. But
You
so
can.
it doesn't have to be my pet project. It's just this is what I support, and this is what I would like to see happen. And so I can't do sexual offenders for all the rapists out there. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go to another program because
Right. I feel you on that.
I can't. No, I'm not. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your story. I don't know. I don't care. You know what I mean? So that's a
Right.
different thing. That uh, you know,
That's exactly the way I
I
feel
can
too.
do. I could do. It's
I
just
mean,
it's a different mindset. I can't do that.
right.
So I'm sorry for you, but there's another program down the street. They can go do that one. So what I want is I want violent offenders, but not sexual offenders, and
Right.
because I can relate to, and what I'm kind of thinking about is I want to do like it's a farm, and this is what I got in my mind anyway. I want to do a farm with a little, you know, we uh, grow food, so we're kind of self sufficient on the food, and we have some cattle and some livestock, some horses, and
You
then we
only
sell
got,
it. We'll take it to market and we'll sell it, and they'll have jobs and stuff. But ultimately, so I can get into a little bit more about what I want on the farm as part of the halfway house. But I want to get into the significance of it. What I'm interested in my halfway house.
right.
Takes an agreement with the governor. All right. So, and the reason is because what I want is for people. It's a program. I want it to be viewed as a program, and that upon completion, that a person's record would be cleared. So their entire criminal record would be cleared, and they then they can actually go on with their life because I know what it's like when that's not the case. You're man.
It's very
I
true.
mean, it doesn't matter what your behavior is. The fact that you have a criminal conviction alone makes your life difficult,
Sure
just
does.
to proceed. And if you thought that it was hard, when people were like, well, when I went to prison the first time, well, yeah, remember when you went to prison the first time, you didn't have a record.
Right.
You didn't have a record, and you saw that you still went to prison. So now that you have a record, it's 10 times harder not to go back to prison. So that's why I want a program that I got to, that's why I got to sit down with the legislature from the state legislator, because I don't want it to be an executive order, because our governors in this state are one term. They cannot do two consecutive terms. It's got to be one term, and then it's like somebody else gets a playing field, and then maybe they can come back and run again. That's what we got going on in the next election. We got somebody coming back from before.
Have you ever
It's like
heard
they're
of
doing this.
Have you heard of Banky Pound?
No,
He's a YouTuber
what is
way
that?
bigger than I am, and he's in Virginia. He did time in Greensville and a whole bunch of different places, and he's all about helping people. And I'm wondering if I can try to get a hold of him and see if he'd be willing to help you on that.
Yeah, yeah. See if you can give me. You said Banky Pound.
Banky Pound, yeah, just like bank, but with a Y.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, and then Pound.
Pound,
All right. Yeah,
like you pound something.
yeah. If you
Yeah, that's his
yeah.
name.
Okay. I'll look that up. I
He
will
he
definitely
did
look that up.
he did 33 years in the Virginia prison system straight, and he just got out.
Okay, good. So he's familiar with where
He
what
yeah
I know. So that's excellent.
yeah, and he's all about helping people.
So what I also want in my halfway house, I want to first of all, the living establishment. Let's just talk about that. I don't like this idea of this warehousing people, especially
Right.
people from all different type of backgrounds. They don't know each other. They love to do that. And as soon as you come out of maximum security, they just expect us all to live together. And I think that that's just somehow unnatural. To really reintegrate somebody back into society, the first thing they need is their own space. So what I would want in my halfway house is I would basically set it up like a private condos where everybody would have their own private living space with a kitchen where they could make their own meals if they want to. But we would have a common dining room where people could come and eat. But it's like they
Right.
need to start being able to get their own stuff together to have their own life, and not depend on somebody else having, finding somebody else. Do you have a kitchen and some dishes? You know what I'm saying? Like they need to have their own stuff, because
Right.
ultimately I'm trying to help them be independent when they come out. So basically a private living establishment. Each individual, which sounds very excessive when we're talking about it. I mean, people don't even consider that, it's unheard of. But also, so the thing with the plants and the livestock, and I was also thinking about having a dog training program on there. The thing about that is that I learned from my daughter the most. That once I had my daughter, I'm not going back to prison, and it wasn't because I didn't want to go back to prison. I mean, nobody wants to go back to prison, but uh, you know, you look at your daughter and you're like, I can't go back to prison because
Right.
this
Exactly.
person needs me. And so, you have to have something, some element or aspect of that in the rehabilitative process. That is a key factor, is that they have to have some anchor. And so, whether it's gardening, whether it's, working with livestock, training dogs, something that they can really have a passion for, that they give a damn about, that they know that without them, that thing's going to die.
Well,
If you can't find out what their anchor is,
one of the
go
best
ahead.
one of the best programs I've seen in Missouri prison system is the Puppies for Parole program, where they have prisoners training dogs, and I've seen cold-hearted people that would just as soon as stab you as look at you, not smiling or nothing. They get a dog, start training this dog, and they're all smiles, and it changes them. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it is going to change. Yeah, I was thinking, but because I seen that Prolees and pit bulls and all, I seen all that stuff. I was actually thinking about dogos because um, it's a good canine. And so I was actually wanting to set up one of my programs with the dog training to be a canine training school. And I've talked to law enforcement about this before. When I was out when I was completing my sentence in Maryland, and I was in the pre-release at the very end of my sentence, and you could be on you could do work release, but
Right.
they wouldn't let me do work release unless because I was out of state. So the only thing I could do off the compound was work for the county, and I saw this ad come in for opportunity to work as a canine trainer. And I love dogs and I know dogs. And but when they found out I was at the camp, they weren't having it, which I thought was unfortunate because I'm like, well, how are you going to properly train this dog to go after criminals if you want to use people that aren't criminals?
Right.
But that's not the way they saw it. They saw it like, heaven forbid that, criminals learn the vulnerabilities of the canine. I already know the vulnerabilities of your canine. What I'm saying, I'm trying to help you. Well, I'm trying to get a job is what I'm trying
Right.
to do. But the point is that if I set up a canine training program, it would make law enforcement feel more confident in what I'm trying to do. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because they're getting
Exactly.
something out of it, you know. And so, and I was also thinking, with the food and stuff from the farm that I'm producing to maybe set up a couple of businesses like a deli or a bakery or like even a produce, farmers market type thing,
Right.
and but also one of the other big obstacles to being on post supervision is having to get to a meeting, because a lot of people they don't have their own transportation, they haven't gotten that yet, and they got to navigate that, and the PO doesn't have patience for anything. They just set up a ridiculous schedule and screw your work, and then they're like, oh, but you got fired. Yeah, I got fired because I came into this meeting. You demanded I come into this meeting, then I get fired, because I'm not at work. So what I want is I want to have in the house, I want to have a meeting room where the probation officer has to come to the house. And instead of people in the house having to go to a probation office, probation officer just come to the house when they want to see somebody to come there, and we could talk about what their work schedule is, and they could coordinate that appropriately. But have them
Yeah.
come
Or
to the house. Why?
have them come to the house or go to the workplace, you know?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes that's not always a good idea because then the employer's like, "Who is this person popping in?"
Right.
And so, but I'd just rather have that. There's no reason why that officer can't come to the house. So
Right. I agree
and
with you.
especially if it is a halfway house, and so, but yeah, the hardest difficult that I'm seeing there is the fact that I need the state legislature to approve it so that it is a one and done. It's not an executive order. So that's what I gotta get it all down. Basically, I gotta write up a bill and get a bunch of signatures and get some people's attention and awareness and interest up, and then it's going to come down to what location am I asking for, because everybody has this not in my backyard policy. And but I got to show them how it's going to be beneficial to the community. So
Right.
that's basically where that
You
program
got you
currently
got
stands.
you got to prove your case to them. Basically, is what you got to do. You know, and convince them.
Yeah, and it's not easy because I'm gonna need a governor stamp on this, and because the governor in our state is only one term in office at a time. It's I got a really short window. He's got other things he's doing, and he's like, why does he want to hear me? So I really got to get the word out there where he can't not hear me. And that's it's like there's no way he can't not hear me. And he's busy. It's like
Right.
he's gonna make some time to come and get this done. So that's where I'm at with the halfway house. But yeah, I do have a big interest in that. I do want to help people um, reintegrate into society. I do understand the difficulties that they're gonna and the challenges they're gonna face. And I know everybody else is like, well, forget about them. That's their problem. And I'm like, no, that
Oh,
it's not their problem. It's your problem.
it is a problem. They just
If
don't
they don't
know.
reintegrate, that's society's problem. Yeah,
That,
they don't realize that. And I'm like,
that
yeah, I'm telling you firsthand.
right. Most people are getting out of prison and they're going to be living next to you. You know,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
what
you cross them in the grocery store all the time. Like
right.
I can't even tell you how many times, like when I got out of prison, guys I knew in prison that I didn't know before prison. I didn't know them from the street. I just met them in prison, and we didn't exchange information, and so it's not like we had plans to meet up. But then they run into me on the street, and they'd be like, hey, and I'm like, oh damn. So that's, you wouldn't believe how common it is that in your everyday endeavor, you are passing by somebody who's been to prison.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you think it doesn't matter how well they're doing, you are mistaken.
Right.
It does matter how well they're doing, because when they're not doing well, you're not going to be doing well.
Right.
That's just the way that is.
Right. It's the truth, though. You know. But I think it's a good idea. Like I said, try to get a hold of Banky Pound. I'm going to try to get a hold of him for you too, because
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
he's doing big things, helping all kinds of people in Virginia. You know. And, so.
Have you checked the last video to see if it came out all right, or
We're getting ready to edit it tonight, and it's going to be out
Okay.
tomorrow.
okay? I just want to know if we need to redo it, just whatever. Let me know, because I
All
want to
right,
make sure it goes out where it's clear.
Yeah, I'll let you know if we have to redo it. I'll let you know. Before it goes out.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's about it on that. Is that all you got to say? Halfway.
Yeah. That's the bottom line with that. I mean, if you want to come back and revisit my second incarceration, let's just do that at a different time, because
Yeah,
let's just
I
get this out for now.
I kind of do want to do
Yeah.
that, but I do live streams Saturday nights at 5. 5
Okay.
o'clock my time. So if you want to come on there, I'll tell people
Okay.
about your core space and about some of your plans there too.
Okay. So actually, that's 6 months.
Yeah, we it's on Saturday nights, and we just sit there and talk is all we do. Like kind of like
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen some of your live streams.
Yeah.
But this sounds good. Let's wrap it up and get
All
it
right, I
done.
thank you for doing this, and I thank you for what you're trying to do for the people who are
Well, I thank you for giving me the soapbox to stand on.
uh,
Have a good one.
pleasure. All right, thank you.